Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Critique Corner with just me, Daniel Parker. Um DB couldn't join me because he's cat sitting for his folks. So there's no live show this week, but I didn't necessarily want to leave you guys without any content. So I thought I would do a short little review video. And this review video is, of course, a movie that DB had covered on his Thing of the Week some time ago, and thought I would give it a shot since it's now streaming on Paramount Plus. And that movie is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. And my overall impression is that it's a fun fantasy adventure movie. It's not anything spectacular. It's not Lord of the Rings. It's not Chronicles of Narnia. It's not like Game of Thrones or anything like that. I would say it's probably more akin to Willow in terms of kind of the look and feel of it. And it's got I think it has a great cast of characters and good storyline uh, for for a movie of this type. Um, I think this is also a movie that the marketing failed it, and I'll get into that later in the review. And which is, I think, a big reason why this movie uh, didn't do very well in the box office. If you go back and watch our box office stream videos, uh, it hasn't done very well, and hence why it's on streaming this soon, about a month after the movie's release. But I think, I think the other reason too that the movie didn't do very well is because, well, I guess three reasons. The second reason is uh, uh, there's kind of still that stink from the original Dungeons and Dragons movie that came out back in the early 2000s, which I have never seen. I've seen clips from it, and it looked really dumb. I think some people who are old enough to remember that movie, see another Dungeons and Dragons movie, and they're thinking, "Oh, I don't want to go waste my money and time and money on another one of those movies." Um, and I will say the third reason is because Dungeons and Dragons is kind of a uh, I think I've mentioned this before. It's a very niche franchise. It's very few. It's got a very loyal, devoted follower group of fans who played the board game, and and they enjoy playing it. They enjoy creating all the characters and the campaigns and everything. But beyond that, a lot of people don't know anything about D&D. And of course, it's gotten a resurgence in popularity recently. With shows like Stranger Things, and I can't remember the name of the podcast. I'm sure somebody in the comments will tell me the name of the podcast, or oh, maybe even DB will pop up in the pop up in the comments to tell me the name of the podcast. Um, and also too during the uh, because of the unspecified virus of unknown origin, people were people were playing it, on online. So which probably kind of prompted the studio to make this movie. But I think the major reason for the movie not doing well is the marketing, and I'll get into what that what that was all about here in a second. But anyway, getting into the movie, um, so we meet Chris Pine's character Ed, who is a basically he's a what was called a harper. He was kind of like one of these, uh, I guess, spy type people. He was a bard, and he was helping stop crimes and that sort of thing. And then, unfortunately, one day, uh, his wife is killed by red wizards, the evil red wizards, and this was, of course, not long after his daughter was born. And then, as the movie progresses, he meets Holga or Olga, Holga, I think was her name, is Michelle Rodriguez's character, and she's from a warrior tribe. She's kind of the brute, and not kind of, she is a brute, and she helps Ed raise his daughter, and then the daughter grows up, and then, of course, they start this clan, or this team of thieves, and they're very good at it, and they got all these other people with them. They got like Hugh Grant's character, who's a con artist, and and I'm drawing a blank on the wizard's name. I can't remember his name. Simon, I think, was his name. Simon. And but then one day, they're they're tasked by this mysterious woman, this the who turn and spoiler, turns out to be a red wizard, and to steal some artifacts from this vault. And uh, Ed is kind of enticed into doing this job because there is a tablet, uh, yeah, I think it's right, a tablet, or what, that tablet of reawakening, and it can bring back the dead. And so he wants this tablet so he can bring his wife back. Things go wrong, and then Ed and Holga end up getting arrested, and they're in this tower, uh, in this like Winry Tower prison. So, uh, they're about to be parole. They're at their like parole hearing, and then the entire time, when Ed's telling the story, he's sitting there saying, "Well, where's John? I can't remember, Jonathan or Jonathan or whatever. Like, I really want to see, really want to talk to him, but he's running late." And then he does, and the reason he wanted this particular judge, or this particular magistrate, is because he's a, a bird person, and anthropomorphic bird person. So they use him to escape. He and Ed and Holga use him to escape, and then they get away. And then they find out that Hugh Grant's character is now the lord of this town, of this city, and because he's been taking care of Ed's daughter, and as it turns out, he's, of course, Hugh Grant's character, Forger, is a bad dude, and working with the red wizard lady, and and of course has poisoned Ed's daughter against him, and so now, uh, they need to get into the castle to steal this tablet, and then get his daughter back. Well, and and of course, throughout the course of the movie, they meet, they get Simon back. They meet the red haired girl, who's a druid, and a shape shifting druid, and they recruit her, and then to break into the palace. And it's basically like, I mean, like a D&D party. This group of people, it's a D&D party. I mean, you got, like, I mean, Chris Pine's character is base. Chris Pine's character is basically the guy rolling, as the player. He's the one rolling the dice. I think he even says that in one point. He said he's the player. And then you got the wizard, you got the brute, and the warrior, and then you got the shapeshifter, and then later on they meet a paladin, and I'm drawing a blank on the guy who's the paladin, what his name was, but he shows up and helps them out. And it's like I said, it's this movie has, I think it has great characters in it, and it's like I said, it's fun, it's funny at times, but it's also got its serious moments. Um, Actually, I will say there's probably one criticism I have is this movie kind of has fallen prey to the marvelization of movies. Um, What I mean by that is constantly having to put humor into parts where humor isn't really necessary. And that's not to say that the humor didn't work at times, but there were a couple of moments where it's like, okay, like come on, you're stretching it a little. Like this, there's a scene on the beach when they're watching the paladin walk away, and he's just, oh, look at him, he's just walking in a straight line. Oh, there's a big boulder in front of him. Is he gonna walk over the? Is he gonna walk around the well? No, he's just gonna walk right over the top of it. Uh, it's like, okay, yeah, yeah. Um, and some of you might have found that funny if you've seen the movie. I thought it was all right, whatever. But other than that, I think that this movie, like I said, it's fun to watch. And I don't. I think if you like fun fantasy adventure movies, this is right up your alley. Now, getting into why this movie failed, and like I said, it was mainly I think because of the marketing and the way they marketed the movie was that, oh, the female characters are emasculating the male characters, which can be seen as being woke, to for lack of a better word. Um, I didn't really get that. The So the I think the only parts in there that you could probably say that are like two scenes. One with where uh, Chris Pine's character and Michelle Rodriguez's character are about to be executed, and she breaks free and takes down all the guards while he's kind of fumbling to try to get his restraints off. Um, I don't see that as being woke or whatever word you want to use. To me, it's part of their characters. I mean, Michelle Rodriguez's character is a warrior. She's a big tough strong warrior. That's what she does. That's her role in the party. And it's fighting a bunch of guards like that in hand-to-hand combat. It wasn't really Chris Pine's character, so it made perfect sense in that scene. And the other part of it too, is the other one too was the red haired girl, the druid. I can't remember her name. Uh, she kind of has a thing, or the sorcerer, the wizard has a Simon. He has a thing for the druid girl, and there's that certain dynamic there where she's kind of better at him in some respects, but by the end of the movie though, or during the climax of the movie, I mean, he finds his because he's not very good with magic. That's kind of the whole shtick of it, is that he's not very good with magic, but he gets better. So again, I don't really see that being what it was. So it's very odd to me that the people who worked on this movie kind of made the comments that they did about it, because I wasn't getting that from it. And the idea that they thought that that would sell the movie better just didn't make any sense to me at all. So I it it's disappointing because I think that's ultimately what hurt this movie. Now now of course I know it came out around the same time as Super Mario Brothers, and that movie's doing gangbusters. So again, it had some competition there too, but I think this movie would have done a lot better if they had marketed it as a fun fantasy adventure movie and not as you know something else, something that it wasn't. Um, but um, but yeah, uh, my final thoughts, or my conclusion to this is, um, it's a good movie. It's not, like I said, it's not some grand epic movie, but it's fun. It's enjoyable, and it's on Paramount Plus for streaming. If you have Paramount Plus, give it a watch. If you haven't already, I think it's worth your time to see it. I agree with DB that it's fun. It's a good movie, and yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about it. Um, hopefully I didn't bore you with this review. Uh, if you liked it, please leave a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring the bell for notifications. We, of course, we're a real small channel, very small, but we're getting bigger, I think, and we would definitely love to see more people and see more faces come in and watch us. We're on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So give us a watch. We'd love to have you. Love to see you. And in the description down below is our links to all of our stuff. So I have a comic book that's being funded right now on Indiegogo, Guardian Angel Part 1. And DB has got a series of books that he's written called The Confessions of the Magpie Wizard. I've actually read the first four books. They're really great. I love the story. I love the characters in there. He's done a fantastic job with those. Um, give those books a read, and also too comment down below, and we'll see you next Thursday. So take care, everybody.